Welcome
to Film Shapes,
the podcast.
It's something funny.
All right, welcome, guys. It's been a while since we've done a pod, isn't it? I've been away a couple of weeks. Today, though, welcome Roly.
Hello.
Hi, and Ben, welcome back.
Hello.
How you going, guys?
Great.
Everyone's good?
Great.
Today, we're going to talk about Joker, which is an origin story looking at the beginnings of the Joker before Batman. It stars Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro, and it's directed by Todd Phillips. Guys, what do you think? Rolly, you're looking pensive.
No, still thinking about it. Plenty to think about, plenty to talk about, I think, with this film.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I'm still thinking about it, when did we see it? A week ago?
About a week ago. Yep.
Was a bit, yeah. So, yeah, no, I liked it at the time. I've been thinking about it a lot since then, and I think that's a sign of a pretty good film, actually.
Yeah, if it stays with you, a thought-provoking film, anyway, at least. Yeah, as I said downstairs, I'm a little bit still unsure whether I liked it or not. After a week, still can't quite.
I saw it last night, and it's still pretty fresh in my mind. And I got to say, I came out of that theater feeling pretty critical of the film.
Really?
I think there is a lot to like in it. I think Joaquin gives a great performance. I think the production design is very well done. But I think that it is a work of deep cynicism that left me feeling pretty unimpressed with the moral vacuousness of it.
Maybe that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, why is it a work of deep cynicism?
Well, I mean, I think
society itself, or
it is, but it feels to me that it's a film that's all surface. Like it suggests that it's about something. It has all these issues about, like the rich and the poor, and like social services failing people, and the place that mental health practices have within society, and that sort of thing. But it doesn't actually do anything with all those ideas. It just uses them as a sort of a structure to kind of just rub your face in the horribleness of this created world.
Well, maybe that's what I liked about it. That there is a kind of, I don't know, there's a nothingness to it.
I think it's an honest film in the same sense. I would think of that as quite an honest film. It's not pretending that there's answers to these, at least not simple ones. And it does take you on a journey, though, through, I think, this man's mind. It treats him as it's the most real portrayal of a Joker that I've seen. And I think it's, I enjoyed it for that.
Ben, do you think it tried to do two things? Like it tried to be a comic book film and a deeper sort of social... Yeah,
but I don't think there's necessarily a problem with trying to achieve both of those things. I don't know. Like, quite honestly, right before going to see it, I was reading an article about the Christchurch shootings.
Oh, Jesus.
And I think that put me in a headspace where I just wasn't really willing to accept a movie about, a lone gunman kind of situation. And so, I was in a bad frame of mind, or the wrong frame of mind to watch this movie.
It's not a comfortable movie to watch at all,
No.
And I don't think it's supposed to be. But being an uncomfortable movie that doesn't provide answers it doesn't work for it necessarily. But I think it makes it a better movie in my eyes in a lot of ways. I feel like I think Joaquin's performance was amazing.
Great, yeah.
And on multiple levels. And, people are obviously going to compare it to the Heath Ledger Joker, which I don't think is a fair comparison at all. What do you think, Shady?
I reckon it's more comparable to his performance in You Were Never Really Here. Remember we saw that a year or so ago? Where he sort of bulked up for that, and he's thinned right down for this. So he's gone the method on both.
It's almost an understatement to say thinned right down. I mean, he's been a heavier guy in recent years, and apparently he wanted to do a heavy Joker. he was putting it out there to the director. Maybe we should go heavy.
As in weight heavy, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just wasn't going to happen.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
this he was almost approaching like Christian Bale and the Machinist
Yes.
level.
Yeah,
sort of like
yeah.
Right.
Frighteningly anorexic.
And then I haven't read a lot of the pushback on it, but apparently he was criticised for some of the things he said later about losing the weight and how it made him feel empowered.
Oh, okay.
Because he discovered, parts of his body. He discovered ways to use his body that he didn't know he had before.
Okay.
Losing that weight, and then a lot of people came out and said that is not a healthy way to speak about the body under any circumstances. Joaquin should know better. Well, Joaquin's an actor.
Yeah.
That's his job. He's not there to be a moral savior for anyone.
Yeah.
He's just describing his experience.
So the ways to use his body, does this give a reason for all those fucking dancing scenes?
Yeah, so the spoiler alerts, I guess,
Okay.
we should put out there. But, the dance apparently did come about due to him getting used to ways that his body moved in.
Yeah, once or twice, mate. 5 or 6 times? Jesus.
Well,
Stop the
that's
dancing.
up to the editor. I don't think you...
I know. I know. I'm not blaming him.
I didn't know. I thought that was fine, though. I think that was part of his shtick.
Yeah. I suppose that's a jokerism, isn't it? I suppose dancing.
It's
a
the
bit.
editor. Oh, well, and
Director.
the director, I guess. Joaquin's got this dance thing. It's really good.
Fantastic.
It's
Do another
so
dance.
good. Do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Can I just bring up the parallels I found in this film? Of course, people have talked about King of Comedy, which is the main one, which kind of flips around. That's De Niro as Rupert Pupkin in this Scorsese film, and Jerry Lewis as the talk show host, and it's kind of a
I
similar
haven't
thing.
seen it.
So what?
This is a problem for me.
It's a good film anyway. It's a little bit.
Have you seen it, Ben?
I have. Not since I was about 20, though, so it's not exactly fresh in my mind. But, I mean, obviously there is a lot of parallels with Scorsese's 70s work.
Yep.
But, I mean, I think the film suffers for that because, it's so clearly trying to pay homage, more like very, obviously rip off.
Yeah.
King of Comedy and Mean Streets and Taxi Driver and stuff like that. But, I think, the production design of Joker is very good, in that it captures that feeling of that grimy grittiness of, New York, pre-Giuliani.
Yeah.
But... the cinematography and the editing, it doesn't compare at all to Scorsese's work, and I think being in that mindset of thinking it like a pastiche of Scorsese, but then it suffers from just not being on the same level.
But this is the guy that did the Hangover films, and he's he's not going to be Scorsese. So.
Well, only Scorsese can be Scorsese, so I think it's a bit unfair to fault a film for not being more Scorsese-like.
But if it's very overtly trying to evoke Scorsese, then I think it's open to that criticism.
I heard the director say that he wasn't mainly aiming at Scorsese, but more like the 70s new wave American films.
Can I check in here? Is there any DC lore around this talk show host moment with the Joker?
That's a good
Because
question.
I feel like there's something in the background there that maybe was part of his...
I don't
character
know about
development.
Murray Franklin as a character in the DC universe.
Yeah.
I think in the Dark Knight, the comic book by God, what's his name? The guy that wrote 300. But he did, he kind of did the dark and gritty reboot of Batman in the late 80s, and it's a very famous comic book adaptation. In that, I'm pretty sure there's a scene early on where the Joker uses poison gas or uses Joker gas to kill an audience of a talk show, and it's broadcast live.
Okay.
So that parallels there, but I don't know that Murray Franklin as a character or that particular scene exists.
The obsession with, and
universe.
what about as him as a stand-up comedian?
That's from The Killing Joke by Alan Moore, which is another very famous sort of Batman comic book. It's just a standalone, I think 120-page. Comic, and it's kind of it's another origin story for the Joker in which he's a failed stand-up comedian, and that kind of is what it's there's a lot of parallels with that book.
So hang on, another origin story. Does that mean there are a few in comic books?
I think that might be like one of the first examples of the Joker's origin story. I assume there have been others,
Probably,
but then
yeah.
I think like the thing that the film The Dark Knight does, where it's just he's telling all these stories about how he got his scars or whatever, and it's like maybe some of them are true, maybe none of them are true.
Okay.
I think that's usually more where the Joker sort of sits, whereas the Alan Moore killing joke, I think, is maybe a non-canonical side story, in much the same way that this film is meant to not necessarily tie back into the world.
That's another question I had. Does this indicate that from like they highlighted the fact that all this crap with the Joker caused the death of Thomas Wayne and his wife. That hasn't been hinted at before, has it? Was it separate?
No. I think usually the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne is just some mugger,
random punk.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure that was necessary.
No,
I thought that at first. But now I'm starting to think, that's actually quite a clever tie-in. It wasn't part of the
but it's redacting
part of the main
whole thing,
story. Yeah, but I don't know. I think you got to look at this film on its own.
Well,
without if you look at this film on its own without comparing it to too much else.
Yeah. But then I was a little miffed they even had Bruce Wayne in it at all. Even as a kid, I thought leave Thomas Wayne. Sure, he's the guy that's causing all the trouble for the poor, pretty much.
Yeah,
set him up as the bad guy, but Bruce Wayne. Everyone's going to go, oh yeah, is that Batman from? Is that the guy with the cape and shit? Yeah. But people who don't know the origin so much, I don't think they needed to do that.
No, I think maybe it was to do with because there's that whole subplot about him thinking that he's Thomas Wayne's son, and so you can see the parallels with Bruce Wayne, the actual son, and how he, in some sense, believes that he's meant to be in that position, and that is part of the ultimate rivalry between the two of them.
But incidentally, do you think he still believes?
No, I don't.
Son?
I don't think he does.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't think it really works.
It doesn't matter.
For that reason.
Okay, right.
Would you like to see who's the director?
Todd Phillips.
Would you like to see Todd or Mr. Phillips do a Batman film?
Not really.
See, I would.
Would you?
I'd like to see a Batman film in this sort of much more real, gritty. Well, real.
Sure.
What's real and what's not real here is something we've got to talk about as well.
See, I'd like to see him do a Batman film in the style of the Hangover movies.
That'd be good too. Can we have both?
You asked me.
Maybe we can merge both.
You asked me in the film, who's this guy? Who's this director? I said, I don't know. I think he's done some comedies. I'd never seen any of his films before. They've never really enticed me. So I'm not sure I will go back and see these.
Really?
Well, the comedic moments in this sort of fell a bit flat for me, where the dwarf can't reach the fucking and him walking into a glass door.
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't think actually the glass door. I did actually laugh at that.
That was more of a shock, actually. Than
I think that's kind of supposed to make you feel everything. Yeah, it's a film kind of aimed at your stomach in a way. It's kind of on multiple levels. Maybe there's something in that. Why does he jump into the fridge?
Oh, actually, that's another point of the film. I was like, man, I've been there. I've wanted to get inside of a fridge.
Yeah.
Maybe it's very hot.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Well, that was... I've pinpointed the time for this as well. It's New York, December 1981.
But it's Gotham.
Sorry, it's Gotham, New York.
Yeah.
Because there were two films showing on a marquee.
Oh, yeah.
Zorro,
That's right,
the Gay Blade, and Blowout.
Blowout, yeah.
From 1981. And there was a garbage collector's strike in New York in December 1981.
Yeah,
so
okay.
There we go. It's pinpoint. Whether that's important or not, I'm not sure. But yeah.
It's obviously intentional. Like, it is trying to very overtly evoke that time and place. But again, like a lot of decisions in the film, it's like, why? Like, what's the point of this? Like, is there any underlying meaning? Is there any purpose to it? Or is it just like...
I suppose he's trying to show that it's a bit of a chaotic time, perhaps.
I would argue that this is a film that puts you in the mind of a schizophrenic, schizophrenic / sociopath on his way to becoming a psychopath. And that the fact that you're inside his mind and asking those questions makes complete sense, because they're exactly the sort of questions that you would be asking if you had that particular mental mental illness, and it's a movie about mental illness in a way that I haven't seen another movie do it in quite the same way.
But it's a film about mental illness with a fabricated mental illness. Like what? Like is it what's?
No,
I mean,
Is that real? That laugh?
far be it for us to diagnose anyone's mental illness, and even the boxes that medical professionals put people in are debatable. So I think the fact that he's having these delusions, he's imagining things that aren't there. Half the movie is imagined.
Stop!
As it turns out. Okay, we're going to go there.
No, I don't.
Stop! No,
stop!
no!
Stop! Make it a 30-minute film. I don't know what's real and what's not in that film. Not in life.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
In that movie. Merv was saying when he came out, that's real. Like, he seemed to have a nail on it. That's real. That wasn't.
Yeah. Well,
What the fuck?
I don't
How
think
did
you can't clearly say in some cases what's real and what's not in this movie. That's the point.
But the only thing we know that isn't is that he didn't have a relationship with Zazie Beetz' character. I think. Is that the only thing?
Well, he didn't have a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Yeah.
Well, he didn't seem to have any kind of relationship. She knew of him.
yeah, like she was aware of him, but like the point at which he's in her apartment, and she's like, I think
She's
that's
like,
the
"You're from
first
down
actual
yeah,
interaction that they've had.
Yeah, apart from the
lift, maybe.
Yeah.
But did he kill her?
No, I didn't get that impression.
Okay, I've read somewhere that
But it's possible
says
he
he
did. Yeah,
did.
that's possible.
I didn't think so much. Yeah.
So I think he kills 6 people in the movie.
Oh, you've got a tally.
I was listening to some other guys talk about
Okay.
it. But
The three guys on the subway.
there's the 3 guys on the subway and
His work colleague.
his work colleague, his mum. That was one people forget.
Yeah.
It's funny though, isn't it? You forget that he killed his mum.
His mum.
Yeah. And I guarantee if we had have got to the other guy who was, De Niro,
Yes. Okay. Or well, did he?
we would have forgot the mum. Yeah, or did he? Or was he ever even on the show? We don't know. But this is why you've got a problem because
was he always in Arkham Asylum for this whole film?
Possibly.
And all of that is just because if that's the case, fuck off.
Yeah.
No, but it's got you asking that question, and it's not. Yeah, I like the fact that it's frustrating you. Actually,
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
this is kind of good but I feel like that's the point of the film is you don't know what's real. It's trying to give you a visceral experience of being mad, as in insane.
Okay.
It's putting you inside the Joker's head. It's not showing you what the Joker did or didn't do.
Sure. Maybe I like some things a little bit easily explained.
And this, and it's just it's a perfect film for Joaquin.
Yeah.
I mean, he's played on that edge of reality and fiction before.
Yeah, that's right.
Have you seen that one, Ben, that he did with where he was kind of
Oh, the
himself?
one where he was becoming a rapper?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
That was. I would recommend to have a look at that because.
You saw this, Rolly?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I
okay.
saw it on the plane, and I came off the plane. I've got to look this up. It was one, and it was another film that I was thinking about for a long time afterwards. Just going like, why did he do that? What was that all about?
Yeah.
And he went on David Letterman, and I think Letterman
I watched those again
didn't
recently.
even realise.
Apparently not. Although
I believe at the end of that Letterman interview, he breaks character, though, doesn't he? Like, I think if you...
there's a...
No, yes.
He gets up and takes his glasses off, but that's when they go into an ad break, so we...
But he comes back on Letterman a few weeks later, or a month later or
year
something.
and a half later, dude.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, and Letterman says, you came on here, you were acting out. Now we find out this is all bullshit.
Yeah, give me $1 million bucks.
Yeah, where's my cut? I'm part of your, promo team now. But
Well, because they said it was a documentary, so it's all fair use. And then he said, well, hang on. Actually, it's not. It's a mockumentary, so give me some money. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, because he put it in the show, in the movie, of course. Yeah. So, but yeah, in terms of this movie, Joaquin, Oscar, anyone?
No, I don't think so. I think... Well, actually, it's hard to read what the Oscars are going to do these days.
I definitely think
Is he deserved,
get a
though?
nomination.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I think he's doing good work. Again, my impression of it is coloured by my sort of dislike of the film.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be sort of objective about it. Like I think he is genuinely giving a good, very interesting performance. It's just in constant a film that I have misgivings about.
Yeah.
So I don't know that.
But are your misgivings about the film based on the violence? Do you think it's going to promote violence or...
Not, I don't know. I mean, I did go into watching it with, awareness of the whole conversation that's going on around it. So, it's hard to know how much of it is me coming in with these presuppositions about, what the film is and what it's going to be. And also, a bit of knowledge of, Todd Phillips's work. He, I don't know. I think he's a bit of an edgelord, and
a bit of a what?
An edgelord.
What the fuck is edgelord?
Someone who's pushing boundaries just for the sake of pushing boundaries, not because they actually have any interest in it. They're just trying to push people's buttons for the sake of it.
Okay, yep, sure.
And I don't know. To me, the shot that really stood out in the film to me is where just after he gets fired and he's walking down the stairs, and there's the sign that says. Don't forget to laugh, and he crosses out forget to, so it just says don't laugh. And to me, that is emblematic of the film as a whole, in that it's like a shallowly cynical person's idea of profundity. To look at this pithy turnaround that I've done, and here I am showing you the truth of the situation, when really it's just someone who's like, yeah, the world's shit and everything's shit, shitty shit. And that to me is the level that the film was working on.
So in his comedies, which is primarily what he's done, I think he did a punk documentary.
Yeah, he did a documentary about Gigi Allen. Yeah, right. Who's someone you can kind of compare to Joker,
right?
In that he's a clearly mentally unwell person who. Got notoriety for acting out in public.
Yeah, okay.
That film it ends with footage of Gigi Allen's funeral, and I think Todd Phillips was on record saying it's kind of disappointing that he just died of a heroin overdose. It's I wish that he'd gone out on stage. I wish that he'd killed a couple of audience members and then killed himself.
Wow. Okay.
Because that's kind of what Gigi Allen always threatened to do.
Paul McCartney with John Lennon died. Yeah, it's a bit of a drag.
So they kind of bookend all his comedy stuff, I suppose. Those two films, Joker and this.
And he did
Gigi
another
Allen
documentary about frat house hazing as well.
But that's all American language. What's frat house hazing?
Frat houses, fraternities, where people live in colleges.
Yeah.
Hazing is part of the process of initiation
ritual.
Okay.
Yeah. In which they do horrible things to each other that probably are quite criminal.
Is this guy a twat? Is this director a twat?
I get the impression that he's a bit of a twat. He's come out recently saying that he doesn't want to make comedies anymore because, culture is too politically correct and, you can't say things anymore.
Do you think that's part of the reason the comedians in the background of the stand-up were kind of vile and sexist? And
yeah.
I think he thought that's the kind of shit I want to be able to do on film.
I think that's part of just it's part of just the world. Everything in the world of this film is vile,
right?
And so it sort of makes sense that the comedians that he would see. I mean, I don't know. Gary Goldman, who's the first comedian he sees who tells the story about role playing. I think that might actually be from his act from a few years ago.
Okay,
that bit. I mean, I might be wrong about that, but he's not a comedian that I think of as being vile at all. He's actually a very
he's a real comedian.
He's a real comedian.
Yeah.
And then, Mark Maron plays the producer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
on the Murray Franklin show. And after Todd Phillips made those comments regarding what you can and can't say, he did the intro to his podcast and spent about 10 minutes kind of dressing Todd Phillips down. And saying look, if you can say whatever the hell you want, but you also have to accept that other people can be critical of what you're saying.
They'll call you out on it.
But Todd Phillips seems very much in the camp of no, I should be able to say anything and no one should contradict me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, but the fact, if he may be a dislikable character or not, should that affect the reading of a film? Is it...
Perhaps not, but...
it's the Polanski factor for me. The Polanski
Like,
thing, to me, Polanski, I think, is a despicable asshole, but I can still appreciate his films, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, I think, don't look at it
No, you're right, yeah. Artist and art, that's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? I'm not saying that I'm not judging this film because that guy might be a twat. I'm just wondering maybe that's coming out in his films. Like, I've not seen any of the comedies, and I don't really want to. But maybe you can, I don't know, get some of the odious nature of his character in the films. I didn't find it so much, except for the comic points in this film. I thought, oh, that's like a lot of people laughed when the dwolf guy couldn't reach the moon.
But isn't that on them?
But why?
Well,
Why put it in there?
Yeah, why have it in there? Like, why
in the first place?
Why do you have a character with dwarfism? Presumably, it's not for representation.
Well, it's similar.
It's just to have this one visual gag later in the film.
Well, probably. It's the whole.
Is it?
This whole character?
If it's a shallow.
The
whole movie's built around. Suddenly, the whole movie becomes built around that one scene with the dwarf that can't reach the. Reach. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but in similar way to the way people laugh in Tarantino films.
Yeah.
Where, banging the girl's head against the fireplace 50 times or whatever it was.
Talked about that.
Talked
in the last
about
one,
that,
didn't we? Yeah.
And a lot of audience. That's their response to such a situation is to laugh.
It's uncomfortable
but
laughter, I suppose.
Yeah. But I mean, having said that, maybe Tarantino's a bit of a misogynist as well. But yeah,
he's an immature guy anyway. Yeah.
But I don't know. Looking at these films, having people react in different ways, and then being able to discuss them afterwards is part of the
that's good.
The point of the film.
That's why
if nobody's discussing it and people are just agreeing on what an amazing film it was or what a shit film it was, and we never talk about it again.
Yeah, then
it's a pointless film.
That's Forrest Gump or something like that, then, isn't it?
Well, a lot of people did discuss.
Did they?
I've
actually never seen that film. So
you've never seen Forrest Gump?
No, I probably shouldn't have used that as an example. Yeah. Why are you umming now?
No. I'm just thinking about the dwarf thing and that because it wasn't. It didn't poke out to me as a funny moment in the film, but nor did it poke out as a part of the film that was particularly memorable.
Okay. Well, I suppose because I knew that this guy had done comedy, I was waiting for comedy bits, or I don't know. There were a couple, I suppose. But.
It's that kind of sick humour that the character, the Joker, would revel in. I think, and again, it plays to my theory, that you're inside the mind of someone with this, rather than, this is it's almost a second person point of view, which is a little bit rare in film.
As opposed to
you are now walking down a street. You are now picking up a cup of coffee instead of he is now picking up a coffee. Or hang on, have I got that right?
Or yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Or I am now picking up a coffee. Yeah, it's
okay.
It's inviting you into someone's brain and personal experience. That
you found it a bit more immersive than I did, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I was just frustrated coming out of it, thinking, what are we supposed to?
What part was real?
What part? Why are you going Cockney on me?
What part was real? And I should have mentioned, you gave me a gift, and I very much appreciate that gift that you brought me from Japan.
Yeah.
But it was quite interesting that you pulled out this Japanese steel blade knife to give me in the foyer of the movie cinema of Joker, and then were encouraging me to open the present in the cinema. I said, I'm not going to open it now. Right? People are going to get the wrong idea here. This is taking the
Did you get the white paint that I gave you as well for the face? Yeah.
I felt exposed enough just going to see this film by myself as an adult man. With all the talk about incels and stuff, and I was like, am I going to be? But like whipping out a knife in the cinema.
See,
that's a whole other level.
Yeah. See, I didn't know about any of that stuff, and I'm glad I didn't, because I felt like I was. Yeah, it didn't even factor into my viewing of the film. I hadn't looked at. I think the day before the film, I didn't even know Joaquin was the Joker.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So I was literally there just
good.
Just raw.
It's a good way to come into a cinema, I think.
Yeah, because I'm very much coming from the opposite. Like, I was so aware of all the stuff surrounding this film before seeing it that I kind of wish I'd gone into it with less foreknowledge, because I think it really has even as I was watching the movie, I was like aware of the fact that I was not enjoying it because of what I was coming into it with.
Well, a lot of people are saying this film they want to see again and again. A lot of incels are loving it, but no,
they still got some love in
I
their
don't
life.
generally like to go and see films more
can
than
I-
once.
can-
But is this the sort of film either of you guys would see again? Want to see again?
Yeah, I might watch it again on telly or something. I wouldn't go to the cinema to watch it again.
Yeah, I think maybe like if I watch it in a couple of years' time, when there's a bit of distance between it and all the press surrounding it, I might have a different reading of the film.
Perhaps if there's a follow-up, like following young Bruce, is that what the next movie, The Batman, is going to be
Can
about?
it be called Young Bruce?
Young Bruce.
Master Wagon.
I don't. Yeah.
I
I
don't know. I mean, I believe it's meant to just be a standalone
Okay.
kind of thing, and like they like you know maybe this is their first foray into. I mean, obviously it's been very successful, and so they're probably, if not going to spin this into a sequel, then certainly continue doing this kind of like standalone side story stuff, which is a very big point of difference between them and Marvel, which obviously has gone very much the other way, and they've tried to emulate that with the DC universe and been much less successful.
Yeah. I suppose making the villain the hero. I suppose they did that with Thanos at a point, didn't they? So maybe they've followed that and thought, let's make a baddie the center of a story. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he's a more interesting character than Batman.
Yes,
Like,
true.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, I think it's a film people will talk about for a long time.
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah. I kind of hope it is, in a way. I think it's more interesting than, whatever Heath Ledger was given to portray
Yeah, I've forgotten Heath Ledger's
in that,
performance, but
but a lot of people were talking about that. Maybe it's the posthumous thing, I'm not sure, but I never felt that it was anything.
I thought he was pretty good.
He was
Yeah,
good.
no,
He was
think
good,
it's
but
pretty
he
solid.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't have that many
Oh, but
lines.
but-
I mean, he
I
was.
don't know. That entire, like, do you want to see me make this pencil
know-
disappear? Like, that sold that entire.
That was that was
like-
great, but that was one scene. I mean,
Yeah.
Joaquin held this film for 2 hours on just
Yeah.
him.
no one's talking about Jared Leto, though, are they?
Oh, okay.
I wonder
talk
why.
about
No, not
Academy
really.
Award nominee
No.
Jared Leto.
Yeah. Yeah, no. On that note. All right, guys. Well, I think that's probably plenty. Thank you very much. See you next time.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye.